Cinema Peeps.
Hey, Cinema Peeps.
I'm sorry, I just got back from the dentist, so if it looks and feels like I'm intoxicated, I'm not. I'm just trying to recover from sitting in the chair. God damn. This will be a fun one, guys. I can feel it. I feel it in my teeth.
In your teeth.
In my teeth.
Well, I'd like to start off by saying that I have officially got a library card. Thanks to you. You inspired me to get a library card.
Oh yeah, but didn't you say that? You said that last time.
Did I say that last time? Well, I didn't officially get the library card last time. I signed up for it.
Oh, I
but
see.
I have the physical card now.
Yay! Oh wow. See, we're doing it, people. We did it.
We're nailing it right off the bat.
Hell yeah. Use that library card, girl.
Hell yeah. I can't wait to use it. But I want to wait and finish this Thursday Murder Club first, which I'm slowly chugging along in. I'm enjoying it.
How far are you now?
I got to the part where they've invited Donna and Chris, the police investigators, over to, because Elizabeth has information for them. So they've invited them over to their place there, and he's all awkward and uncomfortable sitting on the couch with the other two and stuff. It was pretty funny.
He's like, they're doing this to me on purpose.
Yeah, they're doing this to me on purpose, yeah. But it got me thinking, because I started, now that I've kind of like, I'm more familiar with the characters and stuff like that, it got me thinking, because this is becoming a movie in the future, I was like, I wonder who they're going to cast as some of these characters. So I started kind of like daydreaming about who I think they might cast. So, yeah.
Do you want to share some of your thoughts?
Sure. I don't have like a whole bunch of them, but the one in particular I thought of, and maybe I'm like, maybe you'll have a different suggestion, or maybe you'll think it's weird, but I can see Ian Bentham, I think is how you pronounce his name, but Ian, in the character of Ian, I can see him being played by Kurt Russell.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only because it feels like he's got a similar demeanor to Kurt Russell, so I don't know, it just seemed, I could see him playing that character very well.
And I mean, what's my thought? I guess with like makeup and stuff, but I do picture like he is a very like not a veiny man, but he's a very vain man. Yeah. So I think they even make comments that it's like he's kind of like his hairline's going, but he's trying to hide it, kind of thing. Yeah. And unfortunately, Kurt Russell's got big old luscious locks. Yeah, so he might be out. He might be out for the count.
This is true. Yep.
And I mean, but he's not English either, so it'd be interesting. I'm assuming they probably cast all
English actors.
Wow, thank you. Yeah. See, it's already taken effect. Yeah. So drunk from the chair.
Well, who knows? They might change up a few characters.
We'll see what good old Steven Spielberg he does. We'll see.
Yes. But then I was trying to like think of who like Elizabeth could be, because obviously she's kind of the more like bold, intimidating one. So I was like thinking like people like Meryl Streep or like Judi Dench. Or like maybe I don't know, maybe Jane Fonda even, because she can play like a really like bold character. But like two of those people aren't British, so
yeah. I was thinking Helen Mirren.
Yeah, Helen Mirren's a good one too.
But at the same time, it also would be nice to have the core people maybe be not as known actors, maybe. Yeah, that's a good idea. I think, because again, the whole vibe is that they're always not looked down upon, but they're not as obvious, right? Because you're just like, oh, there's these people who just live in this home. They just, they drink in the afternoon and just, play cards. When really they're busy and hard at the pavement and hard at work. So, right? Yeah. It might be nice to get some fresh faces. So yeah. But we'll see. I like the idea of. I'll have to think for other characters what they could be. Right, well, and you finished the book too, so you know more than I do. So I'm only going off of the much that I know right now. But because you finished it, you might have a different idea, right? Well, like I said, it actually would be, I mean, words. Yeah, my vote would be to do all relatively unknowns, but we'll see what Mr. Spielberg's got under his sleeves. Yes. He's a tricky man. Although, speaking of Spielberg, we watched West Side Story.
So did I.
Oh my god, so fucking long. Anyway, but what are your thoughts on?
Have you seen the original?
No.
Okay, so that explains. Because the West Side Story, the original, is, I don't want to say it's like.
I watched the trailer for it, and I was like,
yeah.
"Oh, I see. Like, I get the
It's
general
one of those
vibe.
ones that you either love or you don't love. It's not one that's like, I don't know. In my opinion, they're like, you've got the iconic handful of like musical Broadway movie type films that are there, and this one's kind of one that's like on the fence for most people that I've talked to. You either really love it or you don't. So like, my dad loves it. My mom, not so much.
Interesting.
That classic example right there. But
I mean, I can appreciate it.
Yeah.
For like, because again, like I was going in like semi-blind, but like I knew that it was roughly like inspired by like Romeo and Juliet.
Yes.
So I was kind of like, so going into that. So I was more curious of like, you know, what songs are they gonna do and da 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 da, and realizing like, oh, I actually know quite a lot of these, just because they are so iconic.
Yeah, exactly. So
I was like, wow, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and it's definitely a reimagined, I guess, remodernized version of
modern
the original.
of the 1960s.
Yeah.
We just rounded up a couple centuries.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I found that it did, for the most part, like hit almost every beat that the original film did, with an exception of a few modifications they did too.
Okay.
I was doing some research and like kind of like reading about some stuff of like the making of it and like Steven Spielberg's take on it and stuff like that. And there was one shot in the gym, particularly when they're having that big dance and stuff like that. I guess one shot was supposed to. I can't remember. I think he said it was supposed to be like a one shot, and they ended up like chopping it up into a few different bits. But it was like a really difficult thing to do because they had to have like this. It started off on like a steady cam, and then it transitioned into like a big crane shot from one end of the gym to the other.
Yeah, no.
So that was kind of cool. But yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself for that.
That sounds like a lot of work.
Right?
Although, speaking of that gym scene, I have so many questions.
Oh?
So, like, Maria very blatantly goes, I'm 18!
Yes.
So she's not going to school. So, first of all, why is she there? But second of all, Bernardo, her older brother, I don't know if they explicitly say it in the film. I thought they said he was 22, but I think they even say he's a couple years older than Maria. So we're saying he's 22. What the fuck is he doing at the school? And like some of the jets, I could see them being dropouts. But again, why are they all there? Why are they at a school?
I think it's
Please film me.
I think originally the intent was it's not supposed to be a school dance. It's just that it's a community dance that's being held at the school.
At the school? Okay.
Yeah.
I just
like
the
they
entire
have
time.
the police officer there and everything. So and in the original film, at least unless I was completely oblivious to it, it didn't look as much like a school as they made it look like in this film.
Okay.
It was just like a hall that they were dancing in.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was throwing me off real hard. I was like, what is this? What is happening?
Yeah.
Gosh, though. I mean, though, I will say, like, I think he did a really good job. Like, it felt really real.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like with some musicals, like, sometimes you're like, oh, this is definitely, like, sound stagey.
Yeah.
You know? Not dissing that vibe. I sometimes love that vibe if it kind of goes with the overall musical.
Yeah.
You know? But I think that also, at least in my opinion, shot this one in the foot. Because he made, like, Steven Spielberg made this kind of real feeling universe, and he made the, choreography and the singing like real, if that makes sense. Like to me, like for musicals, like you kind of go through like two routes. You either do like a dream-esque kind of thing, so a lot of times like the characters are singing, but it's always about like what they're feeling, you know. So necessarily like all the singing choreography is kind of like in their own head, and so you're like, oh, how would all these characters know all this choreography? Ha ha ha. You know, or there's the, you know, musicals where it's happening in the moment, you know, so things are happening around them. And, you know, that's obviously what he went for, like, especially with, what is it? We in America or something.
Oh,
and they're doing the dance number.
In America.
You know, and they're in the streets and then they're stopping traffic. And people are getting in the cars being like, WTF? Like, what's going on, you know? And I mean, and sometimes I really liked that, but then there'd be the times where it was like, what was it, that Cool Boy song? which I thought they did like the fun choreography fighting thing then, but then there'd be points where he's like, don't do it, and then the one guy would just like do a little pirouette or something. He'd be like, he'd just spin in place, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So like those moments like took me out of the film. But then there was that time where Tony was singing Maria and he was walking and then all the lights turned on behind him and you're like, what? And then he pans to the janitor fucking turning all the lights on.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so funny. I was like, that's so good.
Right?
But then there was other times where like, again, like characters would do that and then I would be pulled out. I'd be like, I don't.
Yeah. To me, like, when I think of that kind of thing, it's like I'm more so envisioning, how can I describe it? It's like, because the story is supposed to be about these two gangs in the 50s, and they think they're all, each side thinks they're the top dog and stuff like that, and they have their kind of swag and everything like that, and so it's just kind of like, how do you communicate that through dance, sort of thing, right? Yeah. And so I think that's kind of the idea, and so I get what you mean, like where there's some moves where it kind of takes you out of the, it's like well, you're like a tough gang member. Which tough gang member do you see pirouetting around on the docks, kind of thing, right? But I think that's the intent, is to try to like communicate those moves or that style through dance, I guess.
I get. But I mean, like, again, speaking of the hall scene, I thought that was done really well. But again, because it felt organic and it made sense. Yeah. But then there'd be times where the characters are either singing to each other or, just having they're supposed to, I think, calmer moments, and they're still just kind of being like, yeah! And I'm just like, what? No.
To be fair, though, I think they were maybe at that point just trying to capture the essence of the original film, because it's very like expressive and dramatic in the original one too. So I think maybe in that regards, that's where that's from. So
probably.
To someone who's not seen the original, they probably think it's super corny. But yeah, the original film, they were like, because like my dad even said too, in the opening song, the when you're a jet, you're like that one kind of thing. They, in the original one, as they're kind of like skipping through the streets and like doing their snaps and stuff, they actually like go around going ska, pow, da-ka-da-pa, like they actually do that, and this time they didn't. So, and my dad's like, yeah, they normally that's what they do in the original film. So I guess there's maybe some elements that they tried to take out, or I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, again, with the musical, I think you either have to go full ham, which I think is totally fine. Yeah. Or not. Yeah. I don't think you can go middle ground.
True.
Then you
but
have
I guess
those
he's like, Spielberg was probably going, okay, well, like, how can I do this to the point where it's not a word for word, like, copy kind of thing?
Yeah.
Right?
That too as well.
And he even said, too, like, kind of just to, like, skate onto some fun facts about the movie. Like, I guess the West Side Story album was his very first introduction to, like, real music. As a kid, because being that he's from a Jewish family, he listened to mostly Jewish type music growing up, and so the West Side Story was like one of the first real albums of like other music that he listened to. So it's been obviously a big part of his childhood and growing up and stuff. And he was asked, I guess, at some point in the past, like if he could do a musical, which one would he want to do? And West Side Story was the one he had answered, I guess, which is kind of cool.
That's really cute.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, it's shot beautifully.
Oh yes, like definitely like a total. He took, because again, if you've seen the original movie, it's definitely, you can tell it's definitely filmed for like stage performance. It's not. There's less of the cinematic shots, whereas there's more. Like it really brings you into the character in this newer one. We kind of get more up close and personal with them, whereas the original one, you do feel like you're watching it on Broadway.
Yeah.
Which is, so it's kind of a neat difference and a cool way to kind of like modernize it and give it a different perspective, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, like I said, you got to respect it, but at the same time, I found it like the beginning I was kind of like, middle though, I was like, yeah. By the end, I was like, let's fucking wrap this shit up, people. I'm tired. This is exhausting. Yeah. But I guess to be fair, I don't care for Romeo and Juliet. So this idea of like, oh my god, I just saw you, I love you. Yeah. I'm like, girl, no, we gotta pick some options, pick some options, all right? But, yeah, I don't know. I would say I really like musicals in general, but this one just didn't do it for me.
That's fair.
And I mean, I was talking to one of my friends, and we were talking about how, like, I feel like whatever your first musical is, like, that you get introduced to kind of, like, shapes what I think you like for musicals.
Yeah.
So I know, like, she got into, like, Cats, and I know I guess for a lot of people, they don't like the musical Cats, but that was the first one she had, so that's kind of what, you know, influences what she really likes.
Yeah.
And I guess for me, it's Wicked. So,
yeah.
You know, a little bit later. But I think it does influence your choices and what you enjoy.
Sure.
You know,
yeah.
Not saying it's for everyone, but you know, I think that's what we were just observing.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess for me it's just I have an appreciation for it because I know my dad really loves it, and so if it's on, we'll watch it and stuff, and I see how happy it makes him, and he sings the songs and stuff, and so I can kind of, you know, appreciate watching the film because I know he enjoys it and stuff. But I mean, that being said, like, I don't know if it's going to take home any Oscars this year, but I'm kind of like, now that I've seen it, I'm like, you know what? It could be a good contender, definitely for cinematography. I don't know if it will, like, win above the other nominations, because I know, like, I think we said Dune was probably going to be a big one. But just for the fact that, from what I was reading at least, the cinematographer, he went to great lengths to try to, like, recreate the lighting that was used in the original film as well, just to kind of keep that atmosphere and that what's the word, kind of like recreate that world of the West Side Story. And I thought that was really cool because I think that was a big aspect of why I enjoyed this version, because I know we were talking about it before. I was like, I don't know if I'll see it, like, well, like, once you've seen the original, it's hard to, like, compare or compete sort of thing, right? But yeah, like, now that I've seen it and seen how they've kind of they've in some ways just modernized and made it more cinematic but still kept that essence of the musical, I can appreciate that. And I'm like, yeah, you know what, I hope he gets acknowledged for that if he does end up winning that. Potentially Steven Spielberg for best directing, but again, like, who knows, depending on the other films that are nominated, right?
Yeah.
Plus he's also won a ton, so who knows if he's gonna, right?
Does he need any more?
Well, especially, like, not to, like, get all one, like, whatever, but, like, he's definitely made a ton of films that should be more deserved for acknowledging his directing skills than this one, I'll say. Not that this isn't a bad one, but he's definitely made much more that deserve more acknowledgement for his skills than this movie, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it sounds like I mediocrely enjoyed it more, maybe not so much, and you did. There you go.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure my dad fell asleep. He hates musicals, so.
Which I still cannot believe. That's hilarious.
And then, of course, my mom's like, let's get ready, people. Something bad's gonna happen. And my dad's like, really? And mom's like, have you not? No? It's just like, you guys are crazy.
Yeah. It's cool too that they had like the old lady who owns the store. She was the original Anita from West Side Story, so that was kind of cool. So they brought back some of the original cast members to kind of play like background roles and stuff. I mean,
didn't know that.
Yeah, and I mean, the guy who plays Riff, he got a like praise from the guy who originally played him in the original movie. So that's kind of cool too. And I thought he did a really good job because his character is pretty iconic for that movie. So that's pretty good that he kind of kept up the. Riff was the guy who got stabbed and died from the jets. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Spoiler alert if anybody's wanting to watch it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know. It's a music. It's free on Disney Plus. So honestly, if you're interested, watch it. It's free. If you got it, just feel like it, just watch it.
Yeah,
just watch it.
It's an iconic musical, so part of film history, worth a watch, I think.
There you go. We also watched Belfast over the weekend as well.
Yes.
I mean, it was enjoyable. You know?
That's good.
As I joked about in my movie review on Letterboxd, Belfast is a story of, wow, I don't know history whatsoever. Because my parents were like, oh yeah, Belfast, that's that place in Ireland. I was like, I'm sorry, what? So apparently it's a story, I believe it was in 1960s, at least the movie takes place like mid 60s to like late 60s.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think quite early 70s, but But it was about this terrible thing, and I guess, to be fair, I guess it was happening in Ireland for years and years and years, where the Protestants and the Christians were at each other's throats, and they were burning each other's houses, and all that fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, how did I not know about any of this? And basically, the story's like kind of told through the perspective of the youngest son in this family. Mm-hmm. His name is Buddy, and he's like 9 years old, and it's about him like having, I guess, like living his life, but you kind of just see all the bad shit that's happening all around him, and you can tell that like he can't fully compromise what's happening all around him.
Mm-hmm.
And his family struggles with like, do we stay in Belfast because it's a community that we've loved and grown, and everybody knows your name. It was a safe place, but then Protestants started burning down Christian homes, and
yeah,
it's like, do we leave? Or because at multiple point, or at the very beginning of the film, there's like a really big attack, and then they're creating basically like barricades, and there's gates, and like the military has to come in to intervene, and that's like not enough. And so the mom's like doesn't want to leave Belfast, but the dad's like, listen, like, we gotta get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
But of course she's worried about because he he's like, he shows a pamphlet for Australia and Canada, Vancouver, Canada, which is, I don't know why, I thought that was funny. But then she was worried that like, if we leave, like are we be treated differently because we have such thick accents, like
yeah,
are they really gonna like, she was worried about all these things. But then it was, I hate to be in those guys' shoes. Like, that would be a hard choice to make, like leave the home where all your family is and everything.
Yeah.
Or do you stay and I don't want to spoil too much of the film, but or you stay and let bad things happen potentially to your kids.
Yeah.
So like, that could not have been easy. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I don't know. I guess I felt like, because I heard such big reviews, that I was just gonna be like, yes, but I don't know. I enjoyed it.
That's good.
There's nothing more I can say. It's just like, I enjoyed it. My parents really, really liked it. And there's these fun moments where like, there's like this really funny moment where they see Chitty Chitty Bang Bang in the theater for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny.
Yeah.
I think that was single-handedly one of the best scenes. But yeah, I thought it was well shot, well done. I can definitely see why Oscar nod. It's also the shortest Oscar film at 1 hour and 38 minutes.
Wow.
It is a short boy.
Wow.
But very impactful. So
cool.
There you go.
Do you think then would that still be your choice for Best Picture then, or?
I think out of the ones I've seen right now,
mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, you think that one's gonna win?
But I still want Coda to win. So
yeah,
that's where my heart. I guess that was the thing. Like, when I watched Coda, I had such I was like, yes, this is yes. Whereas maybe just because I didn't have that same reaction with Belfast, I'm like, oh. But no, it's still a good film. Nothing wrong with it. Although I will say, I'm kind of sad that like the mom didn't get nominated for like Best Actress.
Oh yeah.
I think both the grandparents got both. I was gonna say assistant actor awards.
Supporting actor.
Thank you. I don't know why I was like assistant.
Assistant actor.
Assistant actors. But yeah, Judi Dench and Grandpa, they both got nods.
Nice.
But still sad the mom didn't get one. But again, we'll have to I don't know why the award ceremony is the way they are. But yeah.
Who knows?
I'll be interesting to know what you think. But I enjoyed it.
Nice.
And I think my parents really, really enjoyed it. I think that might be their favorite.
Cool.
Although I did go to the movies yesterday to watch The Batman.
I actually had a dream about it the other night. I don't know why.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, why wouldn't you? Batman's the best.
It was just so... Actually, you know what? I think it was because you showed me that picture of the cup.
Oh, yeah.
It was the last thing I saw before I went to bed, and then I just had this weird random dream about Batman.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Courtesy of me.
Of you. Okay, so I haven't seen it yet, but give me your thoughts without spoiling too much.
Oh, that's gonna be hard.
Because I know you were the one who was like very hesitant about this. You weren't too sure, so I wanna know your thoughts.
Yes, the roller coaster of their first promotional poster where I was like, what the actual WTF fuck? And then to their first trailer, I was like, why the fuck does this slap so hard? To finally seeing the movie. And honestly, like, it is really, really good. Yes. But I'll warn you right now, buckle up. It is a 3-hour movie. I would say, like, the runtime wasn't off. Like, it could have been a little bit shorter, but also this theater seat I was sitting on was god awful, and my ass hurt so fucking much. So there was definitely a point where I was like, it was like, it kind of seemed like it was gonna end, and I was like, cool, let's wrap this shit up. Like, my butt hurts. Let's go.
Recliner seats all the way.
Yeah, so get you a comfy chair for starters. Gosh, what to say without spoiling it? It's a really good, like, detective noir movie. Because it's
so I guess it's like they're not doing the whole like origin of Batman. This is just like a chapter in Batman's story, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank God.
I would say that was also a disappointment. There was no killing of the parents in the alleyway in this one. Like, how disappointing. But yeah, so it is a chapter, like, it's still very early in Batman's career. So like he just kind of has this, I don't know if he's just made it, but he has this kind of relationship with Jim Gordon. And like you can even tell by like his suit and like all his tech and like all the vehicles he drives that like he's building up to there. He's not at that like shiny, like, you know, everything's not freaking new, but you can see that he's like still building up and figuring it out. And cool. I think that's a big part of the theme of this film is kind of like what the Batman brand means to like the city of Gotham, to like the people, and how that affects, you know, his villains, how people see him, and stuff like that. But I mean, it still had its laughs somehow, which is, you know, always good. The fight scenes are great. Everything's shot so, I mean, I feel like we've been saying this like all goddamn day, but it was shot really beautifully. And like I said,
we're filmmakers. That's what you like. Yeah, you have to. It comes with. We
notice it immediately. We're like, ugh, the boner. But it also was really good at like doing really like suspenseful scenes, but like not in the traditional sense. Ooh, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So I thought that was really good. And again, there's a lot of detectiving, so a lot of mysteries. So, you know, I was down for that.
Nice. How did Robert Pattinson do?
Honestly, he surprised me. He actually was pretty good.
Nice.
For all the amount of shit I was throwing his way, you know, he actually didn't do too bad. So you know what? I will eat my humble pie. Good job, Mr. Pattinson.
You gotta give him credit. He's trying real hard to like get away from that Edward Twilight persona, right?
And we actually coincidentally had that kind of discussion before the movie about, and I also watched this video recently too, talking about what we consider good acting. And it was actually really refreshing, refreshing / interesting take on like what we do consider as good acting versus bad acting. And now sometimes you can take a good actor, but if you give them a shitty script and and the director's directing them poorly, like you can make anyone garbage.
Yep.
It's the same as you can make anyone really good with the right kind of tools, at hand. So, although we were talking about Kristen Stewart more than Robert Pattinson, but obviously I think he's been maybe a little more successful. But again, I think that's also just because we're really cruel to women in the industry. So there you go, because we're fucking assholes. But I think everyone did a great job. What else to say without spoiling it? There was a lot of BTSM duct tape for too much for my liking. You'll get when you see you'll be like, what?
Okay. So how did Zoe Kravitz do as Catwoman? Because that's who plays her, right?
Yes.
Because we really haven't seen, other than Halle Berry doing the solo film, we haven't really seen a Batman Catwoman interaction since Michael Keaton and Michelle Pfeiffer, right?
Well, and The Dark Knight Returns.
Oh, yes. I forgot about Anne Hathaway, too.
Yeah. So what is interesting, because even my friend pointed out too, is like they definitely, for at least this Batman film, they did seem to pull a lot of like Halle Berry Catwoman influence.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's how we felt. At least in terms of like her costume design and stuff. And I thought she did really good for like the beginnings of Selena, especially. There was one weird story detail which I think is new. I think it's new to this story.
Okay.
And maybe, but to be fair, I don't know in terms of like comics or video game lore. But there is a weird story thing that I think is new for this story for Selena's character. But I thought she did really good. And it was really sad to sort of backtrack or sidetrack or whatever the fuck it's called, my train of thought process. But there was this really, this interview she gave, I think a week ago, Zoe Kravitz gave, talking about how she actually tried to audition for Catwoman in Christopher Nolan's Batman.
Oh. Actually, I think I remember that.
But told she wasn't allowed to read for the role because she was too urban. And I was like, that is really fucked up.
Yeah.
And to be fair, she even prefaced in the interview, she doesn't, like, she figures it wasn't from Christopher Nolan specifically, but probably like the casting directors and stuff like that. But I mean, and she even said like it was kind of soul crushing, and I was like, yeah, no shit, like that's awful.
Yeah.
So in a lot of ways, I am kind of happy that in some way the universe, you know, was like, hey, but guess what? You get to be in this Batman movie. You know. So I am happy in that degree. I don't want to get too much into, like, I have a couple things with the Riddler that was like,
okay.
iffy, but I don't want to get too much into it because then I will definitely get into a lot of spoilery territory for you.
Okay.
So I'll wait for you to watch it.
Okay.
But I think for Riddler, there was parts of his character I really liked, but there was other parts I was like, I'm not a huge fan of this. For the weird expectation I had at the beginning of this whole entire journey, it was very, very good.
Yay! I'm glad to hear that.
And often, maybe I'll send you this later, but there is a Vanity Fair interview they just did as the cast a couple days before the movie premiered on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
And they were going through Batman fan theories. And what made me actually smile was they were, some of the fans were talking about, they thought maybe the Court of Owls might make an appearance in this movie.
Oh, okay.
I'll say, spoiler alert, that definitely does not happen. But what I thought was really cool was, the actor who plays the Riddler and Robert Pattinson both were like, ooh, that's actually a really good comic series. And they were like, oh yeah, we too were like hoping as well. And they were like, oh, that's really good source. They're like, oh yeah, we read that. And they mentioned the Telltale games. And I was like, wow.
Ooh.
So it like really, I don't know, it made my heart, I was like, wow, they actually like did so much research into this, and they like genuinely seemed like they enjoyed that content. And I was like, wow.
Well, that's what makes it better too, right? Is when like there's nothing worse than like listening to an actor talk about a role they did and they're like, yeah, I have no knowledge, like unless it's part of their process and stuff, which I get, because sometimes they don't want to copy word for word because it'll ruin like their interpretation of it. But it's cool when some of them are like really passionate and like they love kind of the, you know, especially for the comic heroes and stuff like that, right? So totally, that's cool.
So that made my heart. I was like, aw. I was like, all right, Robert Pattinson, you got my seal of approval.
Nice.
Although I will say, the best Batman is Kevin Conroy's voice, and you can fight me on this all day, but that is who the best Batman is. But I would say this movie definitely puts gives Christopher Nolan's Batmans a run for its money.
Ooh.
And maybe I'll get a lot of heat for that, but it's pretty good.
You just have to go see it to find out, I guess.
Right? Like I said, there's a couple things, like nitpicky things here and there, but again, if I start going into that, I'm going to definitely get into spoiler territory, and I definitely don't want to ruin that experience for you. So,
all right. But that's cool, though. I'm glad that, like, it's kind of like, if not equal, it's like it's up there with like the Christopher Nolan movies, because I mean Batman's had such a hard time movie wise in the last few years just because of like trying to get the Justice League going, as you know, and like all that kind of stuff. So here's hoping that this is the one that sticks, and like I don't know if they have plans to like incorporate him into the rest of the world, or if this is just a one-off and they're just kind of giving up on the Justice League. I don't know, right? But I
think, honestly, they should just give up on the Justice League. In all honesty. Like, don't just don't.
Yeah, it's cool. Like, I like the fact that they're trying to incorporate some more of the like Wonder Woman in with the Flash. Like, I'd be cool with that. Like, little things here and there, different heroes from different movies. But do we really need like a full team up? You know?
No.
Yeah.
No. We don't need it. I mean, and, maybe DC will prove us wrong and they will try again and it will be better. But I just think every time, I say every time, but really they've done it once, But when they've tried to what I mean to say is when they've tried to catch up with Marvel, and when DC's not always to blame as well. Other studios have tried to replicate Marvel's success, but that took time.
Yeah.
So just take your time, invest in your characters, and then the world will grow naturally. If you try to just go stick it together and just hope it works, like it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, I know there are fans of, although, sorry to get so sidetracked, but they played that trailer again just before the movie of like, we need heroes, like DC's like redemption trailer, and my friend was like, what the fuck is, she's like, this is another Justice League, isn't it? And we're like, no, they're just announcing DC's movies for the year. She goes, oh my god, I don't think I could do another Justice League movie. She's like, I can't, no. So yeah, I guess bottom line is I just hope DC, again, they have, I say as their first banger of the year, like, this is a banger.
Nice.
And then we still have Black Adam later, Flash, and Aquaman. So honestly, even if all four are like, really, I'm looking for like above 60 average, and then we're good. That's all I'm asking for, DC. That's all I'm asking for.
I mean, so far, Flash aside, most of the heroes we've seen so far have been like, they stand well on their own, but like just in that one movie where they were all together, it wasn't done right for whatever reason, as we've dove in before on the podcast. But like,
it was just too soon,
and CW had already had their Arrowverse version of the Justice League, which was already doing like so much better. So I don't know.
Yeah, the recipe is that, like, yes, these are characters people want to see, but you have to take your time.
Yes.
And I know that's not, maybe that's not as profitable or da-da-da-da or whatever the reason is, but that's what brings people to the movies.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think right now we're about halfway through watching at least all the best pictures, me and my fam. I think that's what I've determined. We're about halfway through. So I think we're going to try to... My goal is I want to at least watch another 2 this week, but we'll see how that flies.
Which ones do you have left to watch?
I was just about to triple check. So we still have Nightmare Alley, the eluded one.
Yes.
I still have to watch Don't Look Up. My parents have watched it. Dune I've seen, they haven't seen. Drive My Car, Licorice Pizza, and King Richard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so we're exactly halfway.
Nice.
So yeah, if we watch another 2 movies, we'll be pretty close to finishing. Because I really still want to watch like Tick Tick Boom, Being the Ricardos, and Eyes of Tammy Faye. But even when I suggested that, my mom was like, no, we have to get through the best pictures first. I'm like, oh my god, fine. The worst.
Well, Tick Tick Boom and Eyes of Tammy Faye, just coming from someone who's seen them already, they're definitely worth the watch. So
I'm going to try. Maybe there might be ones I'll have to watch on my own if my parents are going to be this fickle about it. Just kidding.
And if they win, it'll just motivate you to watch it even more. So
that's true. So there you go. But yeah, that was another episode of the podcast where I'm surprised I'm still functioning by the end most of the time. But yeah, like I said, we're about halfway through our Oscar journey. How far are you guys?
Yeah.
Let us know in those comments down below. Oh no. Oh, excuse me.
Oh no, we're getting close to the day of the Oscars, so hopefully we'll. I think we're still planning to do like an episode or a post or something, just kind of refreshing or revisiting our predictions and seeing if anything's changed. So yes, and so yeah, if you want to be part of that journey, maybe you should follow us on Instagram. At that cinemagals.ca/hyperlink something or other. We'll put it on the screen. Or it'll be in the link below.
Yeah, something like that.
Below. Yeah.
But yeah, also, if you guys have seen The Batman, what do you guys think? I mean, right now, obviously, it has a very positive reception, but, you know, maybe if you watched and didn't like it, let us know. I'm always genuinely curious what people think of things, you know? But, that will do it for today. I hope you guys have a happy Tuesday, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Monkey, monkey. And slap.